This is a reading video for Quad Shot Part 1 of Grimgar, the first 3 episodes of the series, or the show, whatever you want to call it. So click in the link in the description below to go watch my reaction to Grimgar, Part 1, and come back here to see my full thoughts, ideas, and theories about the first 3 episodes, and my ideas, and like all that kind of stuff, my impression of the show so far. There's a lot of shush in there. So yeah, click away now or be spoiled as to what happened in the first 3 episodes of Grimgar. Okay. So like I said at the very end of my reaction, very cool show. I am a big RPG fan and everything like that, and like, you know, massive multiplayer kind of fan as well. So having them effectively they're in a game world, but not like a video game world. They're almost like in a fantasy realm that has video game elements. So such like class based, you know, combat, like, so there's like mage, hunter, dark knight, priest, warrior, rogue, that sort of stuff, and I'm betting a lot more as well. Because Dark Knight wasn't really like on my radar, like, because I was thinking like more so like a paladin and like, you know, stuff like that, like shaman, like I mean, just like any video game ever who has a class that's like those in it, like it might pop up in this world as too. But effectively, there's not like hit bar or hit points or, you know, kind of like that. There's nothing actively showing you it's a game. So it's a passive game in a way. Like there's no UI in basically there's no UI. So you're going in completely blind as to it being a game, but effectively it is a game. So the whole world and everything bases around these adventurers, who go out and fight monsters, level up, get better skills, so on and so forth, get higher in the rank of like the cities and stuff like that, maybe branch out to other cities. We haven't seen that yet, but I'm kind of guessing. Get better and get better, fight better, bigger and better monsters kind of thing, get more loot kind of thing, get better experience, loot, experience, and then like so on and so forth until you're up there, basically. So it'll be really cool to see how this progresses and then how far they get. So we follow around a party of 6, basically. And I guess there was originally 12? I guess it was 12, because like the 6-6, because like there's 2 groups. So 12 people emerged from a pillar, with no memory of how they got there, who they are, anything. Like they're completely like mind wiped kind of thing. My theory on that is I'm wondering if this is part of the game kind of thing. Like, so I'm not sure if they're stuck in the game, if they volunteered in the game kind of thing, because that's one thing the world keeps telling them is they're volunteer. So I'm wondering if they volunteered to be in this world kind of thing and fight in the world and like that. But it's one of those like hardcore games where like you only have one life kind of thing. So I'm assuming that's what this is kind of thing. Like you're on hardcore mode, playing the game. I don't know if when they die, they actually die, or they just get sent back to their time kind of thing. They talked about cell phones and like there's a plane, you know, so like the warrior, he sculpted a plane, and he was like kind of looking at it through the sun kind of thing. So obviously their world is modern, for sure. I'm sure just like, you know, around our time right now. 2018 to like 2016, 2010s, you know, something like that, like in that era of stuff. I mean, even maybe even earlier than that, even earlier than 2010s. Anyways, so I think that's where they come from, basically, is that kind of era. and then they get into this world. Their memory is wiped, so that way they have no knowledge of the outside world. So that way you can't really prepare for anything. That's kind of what I'm thinking this world's all about. Is everyone has a clean slate when they first enter this world. No one has an advantage over anybody else, just based on your personality. Your personality is what makes a difference, kind of thing. So like one of the characters that was part of this second group or first group, I guess, because I guess our heroes that we follow are part of the second group or third or how many whatever. The people in the first group, the person there who like grabbed the dagger from the one I guess recruiter or whatever, the one guy, the one guy who grabbed the knife and like the guy just let go of it, kind of thing. His personality was basically like rough and like headstrong, like leader type, kind of, well, different type of leader, but like a general kind of like hard ass kind of personality. So I'm sure he is going to have like advantage in the leadership kind of tree, whereas others are just like minions or pawns or whatever. So it's actually pretty cool to see them branch out and choose their own classes based on their personality or their style that they guess that their personality is. So like the main character that we follow, Hiro Hido Hiro Hidohiro Hidohiro Hidehiro Hidehiro. I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but it's something like that. His name was like one of the tougher ones to figure out how to phonetically say on my sheet. But yeah, it's like Hidehiro, the rogue, basically. So he picked rogue. He had, I don't know if he's already had 7-day training with the girl, or he's in the process of doing the training still. I'm assuming they've already done the 7-day training, and this is them like after training, after like they've after they chosen their class, they got their equipment, and they sent out in the world, and then that's when everything else starts, kind of thing. Then we have Mugazo, Mugazo, Mugazo. Moguzo or Magazo. I can't remember how to properly phonetically say that. It was the warrior, the tank guy, the guy with the big, huge, like two-hander sword kind of thing. He seems the kind of quiet type, the cook kind of thing, the kind of a person who just kind of like the be in a zen kind of mood at all times, which is really cool. And then we have Monato, who is the priest, who is like the leader of the group kind of thing. He seems kind of like the typical kind of default, kind of guy. Like he doesn't seem too extraordinary, but at the same time he doesn't seem too bland or too weak kind of thing. So he seems pretty much normal, but he's got smarts on him. Smarts on him. He's smart. He knows how to rationalize things and everything. And that's probably why he's chose priest, because he seems very kind of just chill, figure things out one step at a time, and then go in kind of thing. So he's pretty cool. And then there's I didn't actually phonetically say his name. I just wrote down Ranta. I can't remember. The Dark Knight. Basically the short sword, I guess normal sword, guy who wants to take a body part from each minion so that he can summon like a shadow thing. Anyways, him. Typical like kind of character who's like a pervy kind of character who always wants to like spy on the girls and that kind of thing. So we'll probably see a lot more of that. That's probably not his go-to character, because I feel like at some point these characters that we're learning about, like so far kind of thing, these characters, these 6, they're obviously going to change in time. Like once they start to kind of get a hold of their own personality, it's bound to change kind of thing. But like obviously like the big things are going to stay the same. So this guy's probably going to be like the go-to kind of like pervy kind of guy. The the priest is pretty much like, pretty chill, just wants to make friends kind of thing. Warrior, pretty, zen, um, keep to himself kind of thing, not being a big like in your face kind of personality. Um, and then the main character, Hiro, the rogue, him just being kind of himself, or whatever. His character is kind of interesting because it's kind of mixed between like kind of normal. I see him as normal. I do see him as normal as well. I mean, I think he's more normal than Monato. Um, he's just like he's physically normal. Like he doesn't seem like any above extraordinary as much as Monato does. But like Monato, like I said, he's like intelligence on his side. Not to say like the rogue is dumb or anything like that. He's just normal. He's I don't think he's overly smart or underly smart for that matter. So I think he's just like the normal kind of character. Then we have the two girls, Yume, or Yume. I think it's Yume, the hunter. And she is very quirky in a sense that she says she doesn't use words well. Like she always like misspeaks kind of thing, which is kind of cute. But she seems pretty outgoing. Not really shy at all. She just kind of does her own thing, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, she chose the hunter class. So she shoots the bows and like a little short dagger kind of thing that she can pull out. And then we have Shiharu, who is the mage, who is a shy one, super freaking shy, like ridiculously super shy. So we'll probably see her potentially grow out of that, but I don't think all the way. I think she'll be shy regardless, but I think she might hopefully open up just a bit more and be a little bit more friendly to the group and not be as shy and like hiding behind Yume kind of stuff. Like, just like Monato coming up to them in the marketplace, and then Shiharu just like hid behind Yume, stood there and just like didn't want to move. So I'm assuming at some point she'll grow out of that to a point where she's actually going to be, talking up to the group and everything, but at the same time still kind of keep that shyness to her kind of thing. But yeah, overall, it's a really interesting group of 6. We know nothing really about the first group, the other group, basically, not this group of 6, but the other group of 6. But we know about their leader guy and potentially one other who seems pretty sly. He's like the voice of Natsu, basically. He's got like the fedora kind of hat kind of thing, or not the fedora, but like he's got a hat kind of thing. So I think that character is all about kind of being sly and being like kind of swindle kind of thing. Like I bet he can get a good deal on such because he's very like, just go with the flow kind of thing. So that kind of character I gotta see him as, and then obviously the leader being all like brash and like just like a very strong personality coming from him. I mean, even just being a dick, like that can also be part of his personality. So we only know those 2, and then there's like the other 4 or whatever that they have in their group that we haven't seen yet. But we've seen them like there. We've seen them actually sit there, but we don't know them yet. And apparently they've already like gone above and beyond in fighting compared to our group of 6, because on day 1 of like going out to fight, our group couldn't even defeat 1 goblin, or 2 goblins. I guess there was a group of 2, but they had to run away. Whereas they said that the other group had an easier time with it kind of thing. So I think personality does matter when it comes to like the fighting and everything. So like the leader of the last group kind of thing, he's very like I said, strong personality. So like I'm sure he doesn't want to give up or kind of thing. So he might go in there strong, like berserk style, just like going ham. The one thing that the show did go into a little bit was the fact that killing things is hard. Like not just like because they're like goblins or like starting goblins, whatever, but the fact that literally killing them is an emotional thing. Like you literally have to like kill a living being, and they're stabbing them, blood's all over them, like they're like yelling and crying. They have no idea what's happening. They just have to kill him to like just like do it, and it's just like it's so like mental break kind of thing on them. And the Dark Knight guy, Ranta, he was like quiet for like a while. He went to go eat his meat like he said he was going to, but then he went to the bridge and just kind of was like sitting there like thinking about stuff and like not really. He was like mentally like broken in a way, like in just for a little while, until the rest came up and started talking to him. But um, overall, a very fun show. Can't wait to see more about the world and everything, and more RPG elements. I know what Monato was talking about, the priest. He was talking about how they should save money so that way they can get more abilities. So it seems like they can actually buy abilities. My theory in mid reaction when I mentioned it, I was wondering if they could, if each class has their own abilities and everything. So it looks like there does. You just have to buy them, kind of thing, which is interesting. So in due time, they'll get stronger and more powerful with their abilities and everything. So should be very, very fun to see what happens next. So thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week for part 2 of Quad Shot, episode 4 through 6. And I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, buddy.